And hello and welcome to the latest round of Global Formula Automobilista Season 1, where we're here at the German Grand Prix. Today I am joined by two spare commentators, the managers of both NLE Motorsport and Harvey Racing. Please say hello.
Hello everyone.
Yep, so there's three of us, top three in the Constructors' Championship, all going to be taking you through this German Grand Prix, to which none of us are on pole. Juan Manuel Fangio for Red Knight, the latest team to hit maximum power, has stuck himself on pole. So well done to him. Max Verstappen, winner of the last round, and I think championship leader. Yep, he is in second place, ahead of Chris Hoy, DTK Racing. Nick de Vries makes it two NLEs in the top four, in fourth place, ahead of Jim Clark in fifth in the other Red Knight. Jenson Button, who retired 3 laps from the end of Austria, places himself in sixth, with Alonso second for Siggy Pop, and Barthez, former championship leader, in 8th place. DeAndres moves up the grid to 9th for Bravera, ahead of Valentino Rossi, another driver who could have won the last race until his engine blew up. Senna makes it best qualifying for Falcon in 11th, ahead of Villeneuve in 12th, Prost in 13th, and Perez up there in 14th. Public enemy number 1, Nick Heidfeld, who did quite well in Austria, he's 15th, ahead of Martin Brundle, who's a bit further down than he possibly should be, in 16th for Harley Racing. John Watson still in the Pink Boy 2KF1 is 17th, ahead of Dan Gurney in the Excelsior, Heinz-Harald Frentzen in 19th, and Michael Schumacher in 20th. Mario Andretti comes 21st, with Hakkinen all the way back in 22nd, Lewis Hamilton 23rd, Yuji Aida in 24th, not rounding out the grid, as we finally have our new team, Bad Rain Motorsport. The Italian team enters the grid with Felipe Massa and Jean Alesi rounding out the back of the grid. And with that, well, Leslie and Daniel, what are you expecting to see from this race? Let's have Daniel's thoughts.
I'm expecting chaos. Hopefully a Jenson Button win.
Not that you're biased in any way, of course.
I'm not biased at all.
And Leslie, what are you thinking?
I just want loads of action across the field. Qualifying was a bit of a predicament with lots of gaps between, well, again, the top, mid and bottom tier teams, but that doesn't mean there can't be any action across the field this race.
Exactly. A long track with wide straights. Hopefully we shouldn't have many issues with lap traffic. It won't be like Donington or Laguna where drivers get stuck behind people for like 7 days or whatever it was. We should be through quite quickly like we were in Austria. So we're just waiting for everybody to line up on the grid. Just speed this bit up. So here we go, everyone's lined up. We're all ready. So 1 light, 2 lights, 3, 4 lights, 5 lights are on, and the German Grand Prix is go. Fangio takes the lead, but it's a lightning start from Verstappen up the inside. Can he take the lead through turn 1? You're going to try it, bit of a slide, doesn't get caught up, there's some dust in the background, there's some sideways cars, but we're all through cleanly.
Yeah, Verstappen with a slide out of the North curve, immediately compromising his run on the straight, but so far it doesn't seem like Hoy can take advantage of it as we all approach the Clark chicane.
Barthez having a look up the inside of said Jim Clark and gets through. So Clark, first attempt into his own corner, didn't go too well, as Barthez is actually up 3 places already. The driver's almost hitting 200 miles an hour, even with their high downforce wings. Clark having a look back at Barthez into the next chicane, but Button round the outside of Clark. He's trying to follow Barthez back up.
Now as we are approaching the Senna curve, we can actually see Senna himself being in 10th place for the Falcon team. Really strong at the moment, but yeah, we just have to see how it pans out on the rest of the race.
Yes, Falcon managed to upgrade to the low downforce configuration for this race, so the drivers will be enjoying a bit more grip today.
As Verstappen is looking for a move on Fangio. going into the stadium section, but yeah, overtaking here slightly seems to be impossible.
Button had a bit of a slide coming into the stadium section as De Angelis and Alonso are side by side. Senna, as you said, up to 10th. Good job for him. Move a bit further back, I think Brundle's already up 3 places as well. Up into 13th, so it's a decent start for the Harvey Racing boys.
Yeah, it was a pretty good start, wasn't it?
Button did lose a couple of places, but he's got them back as it's gone on. I think that was Rossi there getting past Senna, so he might have low downforce, but he just doesn't really have the power required to deal with all these much more powerful cars and the driving skill. He's just getting shuffled back as that's Brundle in 12th already, well, back to 13th with Villeneuve, but good battle here. Take us through it, Daniel.
Yeah, so Brundle's on the inside for this next chicane, I think, after the straight. Looks like he's in the slipstream. So now we can move, but doesn't get it through.
Villeneuve obviously had the better exit out the corner. He's just taken it. We head back a bit forward, so Barthez has cleared De Vries now. He's up 4 places already. And he's right on back of Hoy already and starting to pull away. So there's a little bit of a gap forming. And I think in the background that was Senna under pressure from Villeneuve. It was. Luckily, all 26 cars still going as we stand. That was De Vries under pressure from Button. I think we'll get a replay of that because Button's forced his way through.
That was a little bit rude, wasn't it?
Well, we'll see how rude it was from the onboard.
Really ambitious move going into the stadium section, but well, kept from De Vries, who, well, hopefully was on the grass there. We were within a power slide.
He just caught him up in the slipstream and he sent it on the brakes. De Vries has left him space, got on the marbles, and well, he's run wide.
He was lucky there was a little bit of pavement there, otherwise he would have gone straight on into the grass.
Oh, I've pressed a button and somehow changed the standings, and I don't know which button I've pressed, so apologies for that.
We get a little bit of a modern look for this race, even though it's on an old circuit that doesn't exist anymore. How convenient.
And it's showing us a lot less information than we had before. Well, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a game of press everything on the keyboard until it comes back. Yeah, no, I'm not.
TTK boys having a bit of a scrap in going into Clark.
And for their sake, they're hoping they don't take each other out. The guys around them, they're thinking, hit each other, please, please, hit each other.
If they took a lesson from the NLE boys back in Argentina, this should be an epic battle, which everyone escapes completely fine.
Well, they've got 42 laps left to survive this journey. So I think in the background that is De Angelis and Alonso side by side. And De Angelis has lost out to Alonso, because I think the CD Pops are trying to work together to move up. De Angelis coming back at Alonso, but might have been some contact there. For the moment, there isn't. Brundle having a look at Senna. Now, have I pressed a button this? Yes, I've obviously managed. Barthez having a look at Hoy into the Sachs curve. That's not an overtaking spot, but Barthez seems to think it is. Up to 3rd, what a move.
Yeah, brilliant move from Barthez there, just sending it up the inside into the Sachs curve, and well, Hoy could only sit and watch his teammate drive by. But he's looking back to it in the North curve.
That's close. Barthez is wide, bit of a slide, keeps it going. Hoy's in the slipstream, closing up on his teammate. But all of this is allowing Verstappen and Fangio to just get a small gap ahead. Not
Yeah, both Fangio and Verstappen also in a tight battle with them. Verstappen has had a little bit of a look over the past couple of laps, but he doesn't seem to get the slipstream to get it through. Again, little look into the Ostkurve, but yeah, doesn't get it alongside. So it looks a little bit like Fangio is holding up Verstappen, but as long as he doesn't get past, the DTKs are well in this race as well.
Yeah, they seem quite happy as they are. I am pretty much button mashing every button I can find to try and fix this, and I don't know why. Let's have a look back at the Bad Rain Motorsport team. The new team to the grid there. Well, it's a Lazy and Massa there. Well, let's see how far behind the guys in front are they. Well, we can't see them. Oh, just can into the chicane. It's about 4 seconds between the Lazy and Hamilton. It's going to be. This is a learning curve for the team. They're going to find out how it goes, hopefully earn some money and be competitive for next season. As Hamilton and Nide having a look at each other as they come into the stadium. Move our way forwards. I don't even know what position these guys are in. I'm very sorry. Hoy seems to have dropped back away from Barthez on that lap, so having got through, or having defended enough, Barthez is now pulling away. Oh, that's the replay button. That wasn't clever. Just request a pit stop.
Pit stop unrequested.
There
Now
we go.
Verstappen right up the gearbox of Fangio. He really has a run now going into the Ostkurve. Can he get it alongside? He's going for the outside.
Thinks about it. Fangio just comes across in the braking zone. Stops him going through. And he's fallen back, and this is going to allow Barthez to get a bit closer.
Yeah, we have, well, now two three-way battles at the moment. The top three, and behind them also Hoy, Button and the Vries really kind of crapping out. Well, actually just Hoy and Button, as the Vries has dropped a little bit behind them, and most likely looking in his mirrors behind, watching out for Jim Clark.
Verstappen got close and had a look at Fangio a bit, but had a bit of a slide through that corner. It allowed Barthez to get a bit closer.
Now, of course, if Verstappen doesn't get past Fangio soon, this is going to be a hell of a scrap.
Exactly.
The two drivers at the top of the leaderboard in the championship fighting it out one-on-one on the track. Like, what else could you ask for?
Not much, especially as Barthez has just set the fastest lap. Right. So the top three still close to each other, but not really close enough as in the background, Chris Hoy under pressure from Jenson Button. In fact, round the outside of the chicane, synchronised tails out. That's a brilliant move from Button. We'll have to get a replay of that.
It's a lovely move.
So they both come out the chicane pretty similar. Button's just found a really powerful slipstream. Hoy's defended to the inside. Button's gone, well, this is where the grip is. Close racing between the two of them. But they know what's at stake in the championship, and they've given each other racing room, so well done to the both of them.
And now Button is unleashed as well and can step on a hunt towards these three at the front. Now that's going to be something.
But is it? Is Hoy going to come back into the next chicane? He thinks about it. Not quite enough to get through.
Now Hoy compromises exit. Now the Vries is right on his tail. Does he
Right.
have the power to get into to put it alongside though? At the moment he hasn't.
No, Hoy had the slipstream on button that was able to keep him ahead. The top three is super close again. That's less than a second between first and third. So Stappen was slightly quicker than Fangio on that lap. I think in the background that was the Siggy Pops pretty close to each other.
Oh, this is going to be something. All three in the slipstream going into the north curve into Clark. As Mazeppa puts it alongside with Fangio and he gets it done around the outside. What a move!
That was incredible driving from the Dutchman. But Fangio's coming back at him.
Now he has the inside.
Wow.
Front booth, you can keep it along. You can keep it along the outside, but is Fangio going to be ahead of them going into the corner? And no, he isn't.
No, and he just manages to hold it there so that Barthez is compromised, thus slowing him down. Yeah, that wasn't the right button.
Now the question is, can Fangio go back at Verstappen going into the center chicane?
He's
Oh,
thinking
this is
about
going
it.
to be something. He is alongside, and he doesn't get it done again.
Barthez is currently sat here going, either get him or let me through, please. I'm quicker than you. Fabian is faster than you.
Yeah, the question is, can Verstappen show his true pace and pull away from Fangio, keeping Barthez behind? Or is this going to be a cat and mouse game, overtaking each other on the straights continuously with each other in each other's slipstream? At the moment, it looks like it's the latter.
Well, I think from Formula FG days, it was referred to as the Hockenheim tennis match, where on each straight a different driver would make the overtake and then have it switched back. By the end of the 4 straights, somebody would have won that lap. So we'll see if that happens here. But all of this lost time, slowly allowing Button to catch up.
As I don't want to intervene, but it seems also that the Vries has gone past Hoy in the meantime. While we were watching the action at the front.
He has. Let's see if it was recent or like first chicane, in which case I'm not going to bother rewinding that far. No, it's into the stadium. He's close. Hoy's had a terrible exit. And the Vries has gone, oh, that's fine. You have all the marbles. I'll have the racing line.
He learned from the move button pull to him, just forced him on the outside, and thank you very much, I will take that place.
Exactly. Clark is sticking with them. Red Knight, obviously, by this race, have moved up into the top, into the top of the grid here. They showed their pace at Laguna Seca on pole, but here they are, fighting for the lead in this lead group and breaking away. You know, Siki Pop of, what's that, it's 5 seconds between Clark and Rossi. That's an awful lot.
Yeah, you can clearly see the inter-team battles heating up this race. Brundle is a long way from his teammate, but yeah, in front it's both the Barberas, then both the Siki Pops, then a Red Knight, a DTK, an LE, then the other Harvey, another DTK, a Red Knight, and an LE. So yeah, all the cars are really close to each other here. The Bangalore's close to each other, the high techs both behind each other, 2K is 1 on the sound pace. You really see this with this loads of straights on this, well, extremely high speed track. The inter-car battles is really heating up as, yeah, the performance is mostly the same.
Yeah, 2KF1 are falling back down the grid as they're getting, well, pretty much ignored. There haven't been any upgrades to this car since, I think, Donington Park, and it's showing because they were fighting for the top tens at the beginning of the season, but they're nowhere now. It's Barthez, hang on, Barthez has got past Fangio and is now challenging Verstappen for the lead. So how's this happened? Simple draft at the final big straight. Fangio's fought back, but he found the marbles. Now Barthez is through. So here we go, having just set fastest lap, Barthez is now pressuring Verstappen for the lead.
Yeah, he pulled a little bit too early out of the slipstream on that occasion, which, well, compromised his top end speed, didn't get the move done. But yeah, now towards the old curve, he's going to get another chance in the slipstream once again.
Towards the outside, but Verstappen just blocks him. As I think that's Hoy coming back at De Vries. Side by side, super close. Ahoy,
And Hoy gets him on.
just drives around the outside. But compromise line, De Vries in the slipstream. No. De Vries pulls right and Hoy blocks. And that's enough for it to stay as is.
Now back to watch the stadium section. Is Barthez going for the move on the inside once again, looking at Verstappen?
He thinks
He's looking
about
for it. Oh, so close.
Super close, but they keep it together, and Fangio's now thinking, can I profit from all this?
Button is just behind these three laughing. Like, come on, push each other off. I will take the advantage, no problem. I have something to make up.
Yes, of course, he did lead the championship for one round until the disaster was last round, and it's now, well, 5 points between Verstappen, Barthez and Button at the top of the championship. And Button's now right with Fangio here. It could get the red knight. Maybe not, just blocks it off, but unless Button sends it under brakes, no. Fangio, very wise to the Harvey behind him, just keeps him there. Exactly where he wants him. Hoy, De Vries and Clark are still together, and Rossi as well. And here we go. Barthez has a look at Verstappen. Not going to make it. Fangio, not going to make it either with Button. Hoy and De Vries are still right with each other, and Clark's doing a good job to stay with. Is this the move? It's not the move, but we've seen that all the moves have actually been into this stadium section, so we'll ride on board with Barthez. Can he do it this lap?
If this goes on for the rest of the race, this is going to be an absolute nail-biter start to finish. This is amazing racing from a whole field.
Barthez up the inside, Verstappen on the dirt, Verstappen loses it. Verstappen loses the rear and Barthez takes the lead. Luckily for Verstappen, he kept it going, didn't spin out. But that's not what he needed to see. Let's get an off board of that. Barthez up the inside. Oh, there was no contact, I don't think. No, that's just the marbles. That's just the marbles, and Fangio wasn't close enough to get through. All of this is bringing Button closer. Button here having a look at Fangio. Is he going to get it done into the first chicane? Up the inside, but Fangio later on the brakes. Oh no, he's got no grip. Big slide for Fangio, and he was in that lead group, but not anymore after that.
Yes, and this allowed the Vries to, well, catch up with Fangio, who actually has gone past Hoy and pulled away from him. So Hoy has made a bit of a mistake somewhere, which allowed the Vries through and off into the distance.
Yeah, and Clark's now thinking, I could get this as well if he's clever. Um, um, in terms of technical difficulties, I have pretty much pressed almost every button I can. I've tried on my keyboard to try and fix the standings. I don't know which button I pressed to screw it all over, and I can't work out which one it is that's going to put it back, so we're going to have to live with these completely screwy graphics for the moment. So Felipe Massa, he's 1 minute 21 off the lead and 4 seconds off his teammate. So the new team, they're doing what they can. They're still going. You know, that's the start for a new team. Ide, this is 24th. He's keeping himself out of trouble at the moment. He's not annoying anyone, but he's not been lapped yet. Hamilton also is a long way off Andretti, who's close-ish to Hakkinen, Watson even, and Hakkinen, but 2KF1 are so off pace here. For instance, Heidfeld here having a look at Gurney. Yeah, brilliant exit out the corner. Didn't work though. Gurney is 17th, with Perez 16th, and Schumacher 15th, so Bangalore's downforce upgrade seems to have moved them to the front of the back of the grid and fighting for the last point, which is nice to see. Although they are 10 seconds off the Falcons in 13th and 14th. Brundle is still stuck in 12th. This has not been the race for Martin, has it, Daniel?
Really hasn't. He's just been off the pace, had a terrible qualifying.
And
He's
just
been nowhere near button space.
He's stuck behind De Angelis and can't get past. He's going to have to hope that the pit window, when he gets some clean air, he can fly away. But De Angelis and
Or he can do a knock on and help Jensen out.
always could do that. Villeneuve gets past Alonso. Good move there from the Rivera. Is actually in the background. Brundle has done it. He's ahead of Barthez. So Villeneuve's now up to 9th. With Rossi taking a lot of curb there. Up into 8th. Clark now still 7th. He's actually falling back from Hoy a bit, and Rossi's getting closer, but not really enough. He's far enough away. Hoy up in 6th. Well, he's fallen back from where he qualified, and De Vries is ahead up in 5th. He's obviously down 1 from his grid spot and qualified 4th. Pole sitter Fangio down to 4th, with Button 3rd, now right behind Verstappen. And Barthez has checked out. He's got nearly 5 seconds off Verstappen. What's happened there?
Mostly a streak of fastest laps over the past couple of laps, because Barthez has fully pulled away as Verstappen has pushed Button onto the gravel and now allowed Fangio to catch up once again.
Yeah, we'll have another look at that. So, I mean, this third chicane hasn't really been an overtaking spot. People have looked, but it's not really a place to get past. So he's tried it. Oh no, that was... Verstappen didn't push him off. Button, too much throttle between the chicanes.
Bundy.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Trying to blame Verstappen, but no, that was not his fault. That was Jensen all on his own.
Got a little bit the rear unstable on that first entry curve, yeah, and then over throttled it and the back rear was just gone. And now he has to do all that catching up all over again. While fending off Fangio.
Exactly. So Button has now fallen at least 2 seconds away from Verstappen after that move. It's not what he needed. But he's not at risk, or Fangio at least is not at risk from DeFreeze yet. Oh, camera couldn't see what I was looking at. So Bartes is that, all that battling, it's a 6-second gap up ahead. If he's pulling away this much, why wasn't he on pole? That was a really awful line from Verstappen. What's he done here? He's completely missed that. Oh no! Oh no! It was fine. I was jumping at shadows. Fangio and Button third. This is probably our best battle at the moment. I've found it. I've fixed the standings. We can see what we're looking at now. I know the race order. Yes, finally. Okay. Well, now we've got the information back. Perhaps I know what's happening.
Let's have a look across the field where the battles are, apart from this one, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So Bartes from 8th on the grid is up to first place now. Brilliant start from him. Verstappen about where he was. Button up to 3. He's probably, well, he's going to try and get back to Verstappen if he can. And Fangio, well, looking at this pace, it was probably a lucky pole position. I think Dan Gurney is our first person to pit. Yes, he's lost his front wing somewhere. Gurney, our first pit stopper. Where's
I
that?
hate to admit it, but it isn't an unfamiliar sight seeing an Excelsior without a front wing.
No, they've not had much luck. It all started with that teammate collision in Buenos Aires. Of course, caused by Jim Clark, unfortunately. But yes, it's not gone well for Excelsior this season. They didn't get any money at that point, and it's all gone wrong then. So actually, Gurney's had to do an entire lap without a front wing.
Is that who I think it is?
No,
Or
no,
was that Franson?
it's Frentzen. So
Whew.
yeah, yes, Heidfeld has kept himself going. So he's just taken too much curb. Too much curb and bang. He's lucky he got it going, but kind of too late in the lap to call the team, and he's lost all that time having to do another lap. Unfortunately, I think Dan Gurney is about to be the first driver to be lapped. And he is. So Gurney goes a lap down. Bartes sets another lap. So Bartes has done a 47.0 as his fastest lap, whereas Verstappen is 6/10 off that. Now, Gurney has pulled straight in front of DeFreeze. That's not good.
You see, can he get past immediately going into the Clark chicane? It looks like, yeah, Gurney just steps onto the brakes.
Let's Hoy through. Clark's now going to have to deal with him at another time. But that has closed Hoy and DeFreeze up. There was a couple of seconds between them. It's now less than a second. DeFreeze has lost out in all of that.
Now Hoy is in his slipstream once again, so that battle can commence
Yeah,
once more.
it happened again. Villeneuve has got, well, having no Rossi's back through obviously. Villeneuve and Alonso battling. Brundle hasn't disappeared from the Angeles like I was expecting. As the Falcons are right with each other like they have been all race. And they're doing a good job of being next to each other but without taking each other out. Just scoring points for the team. Here's Heidfeld, and Frentzen, who of course managed to get rid of Gurney in their latest battle. Whether it was deliberate or not, we'll let the Excelsior manager tell us in the comments. As Andretti has got past Hakkinen for 20th place. So 2KF1 falling back even further. Here we go. So Lewis Hamilton, the first driver, with the fuel warning on the bottom left. And actually, so Cass Racing have fueled quite low. And we're going to start seeing a few cars coming in. Here we go. This lap, Max Verstappen is the first driver in the lead pack to make a pit stop. So Button hasn't pulled away from Fangio as I was expecting. Fangio just does have the pace to keep up with the Harvey as it stands.
Yeah, that's slipstream really proving strong here. As Fangio is actually looking for a move, but it's just too far back to get it done.
Yeah, braking point's long here, but with the high downforce, braking point's a bit shorter than you'd expect. Actually, I'll go back with Prost and see what top speed. Actually, Prost and Senna, what top speeds are they hitting in the slipstream? Because these are low downforce. Yeah, see. Fangio was maxed out on the limiter at 198. Senna wasn't even on the limiter at 199 before he hit the brakes there. So the high downforce not allowing them to even hit 200 miles an hour. The braking points are going to be a bit shorter than you expect. But here we go, Max Verstappen, first of the leaders to come into the pits.
This is going to be interesting. Is he going to get back on track in traffic, or does he have a free rein, and is the undercut going to be proven pivotal, as we see Barthez planning to pit this lap?
Yes, Barthez, Button and Fangio and De Vries all coming in on the next lap. As well, with Verstappen gone, it's a damning 11-second lead Barthez has over Button. He is pulling away up at the front there as Verstappen comes out in 11th, just ahead of De Angelis. So you know what you're saying, Daniel, about Brundle perhaps being able to do a knock-on. Verstappen has come out behind Brundle.
Oh, this is it.
This is his chance. Go slow. Hold him up.
This is where he earns his money.
But will he? We'll see. So Villeneuve's also coming in, and Rossi. Very weird line Rossi just took through there.
Yeah, it was a really early impact from the APEC Italian. Just moves to the middle of the track without any reason.
I think he was hoping to have a go at the 1988 chicane. I wouldn't see why. But Verstappen is actually under pressure from De Angelis here.
Yeah, of course. Verstappen now with a full fuel tank and the engine is low on fuel. This is going to be something, because, well, those top speeds, the engine should be faster at the moment.
Yeah, there's only 1% of, 1% of power difference between them. Bravera are just, one upgrade away from maximum power. But Senna's got back ahead of Prost as they're approaching their pit window. But I think if we go to the front, yes, so Barthez in the pits. Alazy's in the pits ahead of him. Button comes in, Fangio comes in, Hoy carries on, so Chris Hoy will take the lead of the race. As he does just now.
Whoa, as really close to an unsafe release there for Barthez.
Yeah.
Pulling up right in the front of Fangio.
I thought that was Barthez and Fangio coming out together, but no, that was actually Barthez finishing his stop and coming out in front of Fangio trying to come in. So Button gets ahead. Where is he in relation to Verstappen? No, Verstappen's gone. Verstappen's gone as Brundle's coming in this lap, so he's not done his job, Daniel.
No, he's let us down.
Yeah, especially as Barthez has got ahead of him. So Alonso coming in this lap, Clark coming in this lap, and Hoy coming in this lap from the lead. Verstappen seems to have fended off De Angelis. Obviously the new tyre grip through the stadium is what's taking him away. De Angelis' tyres must be gone. Head back down. Andretti from 15th is going to come in this lap. 2 Bangalores are still going. And so Frenson's coming in, Hacknen's in the pits. There's actually a Hacknen versus Watson. Looks like Watson's ahead of Hacknen. Ide on his anonymous race has another pit stop. And Felipe Massa for Bad Rain, he's going to make his first pit stop of Global Formula Automobilista. The Lazy is now getting lapped by the leaders after his stop, so he's going to be having a torrid time. It says contact between the Lazy and Fangio into the stadium. Fine, Fangio. Go on, talk us through this one, Leslie.
So yeah, Fangio pulling up to Alesi and really greedy sending out it around the outside going into the stadium section, almost popping a wheel and going for a wheelie, but yeah, the red light holds on and now Alesi is holding up the Vries and everyone behind him.
It was a bit like the crashes we saw with the back markers in Austria at the second of the fast left-handers, where Fangio he could see that the back marker was there, but he still just turned in on the at the apex of a car that he knew was there. So, now that's a shock. Chris Hoy has managed to jump both De Vries and Fangio in the pit stops. So his extra lap and clean air has worked, and Hoy's plonked himself behind Button.
Even though we have those long straights and wide track, Alesi still proved pivotal with the overcut from Hoy paying out.
Exactly. Rossi is still close to Clark. I think, Clark has now fallen off the back of the top 6. He's fallen behind him. Rossi's going to get involved versus Villeneuve. And Brundle has rejoined in 11th. With a lap to come between him and De Angelis, so can he make up that 5 seconds to Alonso up ahead? Who knows? So Senna has come out ahead of Prost after those pit stops. And it's all a bit, well, apart from that Excelsior, it's all a bit Noah's Ark at the back. They're all coming in 2 by 2, apart from Gurney, who's like last by a long way. He's the race leader. Quite serenely pulling away, actually. Verstappen sat back in second. Got 4 seconds to Button, so seems quite secure at the moment. And Hoy doesn't seem to be closing the gap to Button. Not through the stadium, at least. De Vries has been the big loser at that pit stop window completely. While there's not much action happening, someone pick a driver at random. Let's have some time on board with them. I don't know. There's someone say stop.
Stop.
Let's ride with Elio De Angelis for a bit. So running in 12th for Rivera. De Angelis got a podium in the first race of the season, actually. Coming second in Interlagos after a bunch of drivers all started to retire in front of him, including his teammate and De Vries. He could have won it if it weren't for Verstappen's brilliant overtake in the middle sector, could he?
No, that was mostly De Angelis' fault, losing it on the curb before that corner, which allowed Verstappen to fully send it along the inside.
Exactly. Well, Verstappen's won 2 races this season. They've both been under pretty much the exact same situation, haven't they? 3 laps from the end, long-time race leader retires from the race. First, De Vries's engine expires spectacularly out the final corner in Interlagos, and then Button's brakes fail at the Austrian Grand Prix just last week.
Yeah, mostly NLE's wins just came from picking up the pieces where others left them, because, as we all know, De Vries also got his only win this season by passing Hoy, who had a blown engine on the last lap of the race.
Exactly. I mean, we've seen from this season that being the leader of the race has got a bit of a curse. You know, we've seen De Vries retire from the lead. We've seen Rossi and Brundle and Barthez and Hoy and Button and so many drivers retiring from the lead. It's the cursed place to be. You don't want to lead for too long because your engine might go kabang. Or
That's
something.
why. That's
Yeah,
why also Verstappen is the lucky horse in the field. He has won 2 races, but without driving many laps in the lead, so his engine now doesn't have the time to blow up.
exactly. When I said Barthez retired from the lead, he hadn't. The Verstappen, Barthez, um, De Vries, and Clark. Oh, and Fangio are the only drivers to score points in every race this season so far. Fangio's quite fortuitous because he retired from Laguna Seca, but late enough that he still managed to scrape a point. But everyone else has had at least one retirement. It's Fangio here having a look at Hoy into the stadium. Not going to happen yet, I don't think.
Yeah, so even though Chris Hoy came out better from the pit stops, his pace hasn't improved because now Fangio's back on his gearbox.
Yeah, well, looking at the driver's stats, Fangio's sitting at a speed of 84, whereas Hoy's only got 72. So with the same engine power, Fangio should be quite a lot faster than Hoy as it stands, but a bit of luck, of course, and of course minimum racing skill, which affects kind of like how often the driver is at maximum speed or maximum driving skill. Hoy's a bit ahead, but defensive in the braking zone, Hoy keeps 4th place for the moment, but as you said, I don't think it's going to be much longer.
Yeah, we saw it also with Verstappen and Fangio, where, well, Verstappen is the faster driver at the moment, but it took him a while to get past Fangio, and now he's in the same boat with Hoy.
Exactly, I mean it doesn't matter what your skill is, if you've got the same engine power, as long as you get a good exit, he's not going to get past you on the straights because, well, all these top teams have got absolute maximum engine power. In fact, Villeneuve in 9th is the first driver without maximum, and he's only down 1 as E-Day. Well, he's obviously decided he doesn't want to be involved in accidents, but he does want to destroy the race for people. So he just lets Hoy through and then parks it in front of Fangio. So thank you, UJ.
And now De Vries has gone full send going into the stadium, which he luckily does, otherwise he would be stuck as well.
He Ken blocks his way past to tell E-Day to get out of my way. Further back, see what else is happening. The answer, not much. Obviously these long straights are spreading everyone out a bit. Gurney gets another blue flag. He's now being lapped by Heidfeld in 17th. So Gurney, not only is he out the points, he's been lapped by people out the points. That loss of a front wing has been tragic. Unfortunately, that has been the story of Excelsior's season, hasn't it?
Yeah, most of the bottom teams have been really unlucky, of course. Excelsior with lots of broken front links, but also Bravera, who, yeah, really looked like a strong contender for the season at Interlagos, and since then with a bit of an unlucky streak with both Villeneuve and De Angelis, really has fallen off into, well, halfway the midfield.
Well, what has happened for Rivera is it took them until Austria to finally get some sponsor money. They went for the pole position sponsor in the first round. They had a really strong car, but for the first two races, they qualified second. They were so close to getting their sponsor money in both the races, and if they got pole, they would have disappeared off into the distance. But that loss of income at a crucial part of the season, it was killer. And Rivera have been falling back ever since. They tried to move to double top 10 and then kept getting one or two retirements. I think De Angelis retired from both Imola and Donington Park, and by that point they were in the slide, and it's been sad to see because the team were looking quick at the beginning, and yeah, they've got a good looking car. But here we go. Cass Racing have sent a message to Hamilton and told him repay the favour that Ide did, hold Hoy up and let Fangio catch up to him. That's what we have. It's actually De Vries is close, so we have now almost a three-way battle for 4th place.
Yeah, finally some action once again, as now we have another three-way fight for a high scoring position.
Red Knight, of course, one of the fastest teams on the grid. He hasn't yet scored a podium. Only five of the now 13 teams have finished on the podium. NLE, DTK, Harvey, Bravera and Siggy Pop. So, after the second pole position of the season, I think Red Knight should have a good chance of getting on a podium here. They did a reliability upgrade, so let's hope they make it to the end.
Well, if they want to, Fangio has to get past Hoy, and then he still has to catch up to, well, 3 race winners.
Yes.
And as Fangio or Red Knight doesn't have a podium, it's going to be tough, and they really need to pray that one of those guys in front either screws up or blows up.
Yes, and Fangio has a look, but it's not going to happen. Yes, of course, the one problem with this being such a fast circuit is they're going to finish the race quite early. I'm predicting it's only going to be like 1 hour 20, 1 hour 30. So, or like 1 hour 20, 1 hour 22 minutes or something. So, there's not going to be, well, any chance of some major squeaky bum time.
Oh, as Fangio had a wiggle and De Vries goes past on the main straight.
Yes, terrible exit there from Fangio out the final corner. And through De Vries goes. So having just bigged him up to go up and get a podium, he's fallen away.
He's going to have a look back. Now is the question, can they both work together and catch up to Hoy again, who, well, has pulled off quite a bit into the distance?
I think the Hoy-De Vries gap is still the same, it's just that Fangio has fallen back because of his mistake. These curved straights, it just allows you to defend very easily and just weave across the track, because you can just say, no, that's my racing line. So that's how De Vries just kept Fangio behind that go. Oh, well, he's got some wheel spin on the exit. Fangio has fallen away.
Yeah, a really interesting characteristic of this track, because, well, you of course have those banked insides, but then again you get such an odd entry into all of those chicanes that, well, you're practically a sitting duck on the exit once again, so you have to go for the outside, which just the car in front can block off. So either you have to have a massive overspeed and get it done before the braking zone, or you're just stuck, and Fangio is the recipient of that at the moment.
Exactly, it might all be long straights, but it's not easy to overtake here. So Villeneuve is definitely falling away from Rossi quite a bit. He's getting closer to Clark than he's been for a while. Alonso's Brundle, he's made it up to 11th, but that's been about it. So I think we haven't done a proper run through of... Bartet's a bit crossed up through the first chicane. How's that happened? He's putting a lap on Dan Gurney for the second time this race. Oh, Gurney's not giving him any space, and Bartes has had to invent a way through. Anyway, on lap 26, let's go through the order again. So, Fabian Bartes, first place, up 7 spots. He's battled his way through and is looking quite comfortable at the moment with BTK Racing. Max Verstappen qualified second. Him being in second doesn't tell the whole story. But he's moved up, he's moved down, but he's found himself in second again. Button up to third from sixth on the grid. This is kind of a redemption run for him. He's trying to get points back on the board for Harvey Racing after the disaster that was the last round. Chris Hoy is down 1 to 4th. Nick de Vries is down 1 to 5th. And Fangio, who was on pole, has found himself down at 6th after just not quite having the pace of everyone else around him. He's going to have a look at de Vries, but I doubt he's going to make it through. No, it's too tight on the inside. Clark down 2 to 7th. And Rossi up 2 into 8th for Siggy Pop. So Siggy Pop trying to make themselves, well, best of the rest, if you can call it that. But then technically I'd say the Red Knight's best of the rest at the moment. Villeneuve is up 3 into 9th for Rivera, ahead of Alonso, who's lost a few places. And Brundle, who had a bad qualifying, isn't really making his way through the pack as much as you'd expect for such a fast car. De Angelis is down to 12th, with Senna and Prost seemingly able to run on their own in 13th and 14th, nowhere near the cars in front, nowhere near the cars behind, for Falcon, part of the new teams. Schumacher is up to 15th from 20th on the grid, and he's holding that last points paying position quite well. Perez has dropped a few positions down to 16th, with Heidfeld and Frentzen 17th and 18th in the high tech. Watson is falling back to KF1, Andretti's doing the best he can in the Excelsior on 20th, and Hakkinen having an awful race. Hamilton's up to 22nd on the grid for Cass Racing. Mass is up 2 to 23rd as E-Day is falling back as all the blue flags are ruining his race. Alesi is 25th on his debut in the series, getting lapped again, and Gurney, having lost his front wing, sat plumb last at the moment. So who do you think has been the most surprising move of the grid so far from where they started?
Well, the obvious answer would be Bartes, coming from 8th of the grid to 1st. But then again, yeah, you have those guys like Senna and Prost who, well, doesn't have that most power in the cars, but still relatively being quite competitive compared to the teams that started off this season. So they really have put in a quite nice performance today, relatively to others.
Yeah, I mean, becoming a new team's quite hard. They put all their starting money into power, and then have saved up and scrounged so that they could get some downforce for this race. And having now finally got some downforce, they've got some decent pace. So that strategy seems to have worked. Cass Racing went for a bit of everything, a bit of downforce and a bit of power, but they've just been underpowered this entire time and perennial back markers. Bad Rain have turned up with the car that they started. They haven't spent any money yet, so hopefully once they've got some income from this race, we'll see them a bit more competitive, perhaps. Well, at least able to out-qualify the Cass Racing will be their aim for the next round.
Now, if we could get a replay to the guys behind this couple of drivers, because if I know correctly, Rossi passed Clark going into the stadium section.
Yes, that appears to have happened. Yeah, so pretty standard stuff. Clark finding that the marbles affect your rear grip a bit more than you hope.
As now the Vries looking for the move on Hoy going into the chicane. He can't quite get it done, and now Fangio is going to have a look as well.
Yeah, the three of these battling through the Os curve. They've closed right together again.
And also Dan Gurney is coming up. This could get spicy real quick.
Exactly. Freeze on the inside of Hoy. You can get
Is he going to
alongside.
do a button? No.
You can get alongside into that chicane, but no one's brave enough to truly send it. They obviously don't want to lock their brakes up. But all of this has allowed Fangio to stay close as Gurney's parked it on the apex. He's parked it on the apex, but they've all managed to avoid hitting him. Hoy gets through. Gurney takes the high line, and Fangio is going to sit there and lose a lot of time in all of that. I have to get a replay of that. See how close Hoy actually got. So Gurney's parked it on the apex, and Hoy has noticed, but has avoided him by the merest of units. And, well, we're back to where we were. Fangio dropping back, Freeze close. Hoy doing what he can, but he's now nearly 10 seconds behind Button.
And also had a little slide there going onto the first straight. The freeze doesn't seem like he can take advantage of it, so that battle is on pause for the moment.
Yeah, it's 4 mile an hour difference between the two of them, but when the gap's that big, it doesn't really make a difference. Both on the limiter, so not ideal. Although they have managed to drop Fangio.
Now we go once again going into the Ost curve. Freeze looking for the inside, but Hoy blocking it off once again.
If I find the right camera shot, look back from Chris Hoy at this battle. So it's half a second between them at the moment.
Doesn't look like we get some action going into the Senna chicane, but yeah, then we're going to the stadium section once again, and then is the question, can the Freeze send it up to the inside there?
Yep, the stadium section has turned out to be everyone's favourite overtaking spot if you want to get past and make it stick.
Doesn't seem like he has enough speed to do it, no. So he's going to have a look at that smack rear wing for a few more corners and maybe a couple of laps like in Austria last week.
Exactly. So Prost has actually got past Senna in the last couple of laps to be leading the Falcon battle. We'll have a look and see what Senna can do as Senna's having a look into his own chicane. Close, but he can't really go around the outside of the second part of that chicane, so Senna's going to have to live with it for another lap. Looks like they're both coming up to lap Lewis Hamilton. So we'll see if that affects anything. Senna, he tries to send it, but it's not going to happen this lap into there. Any battles further back? Now it's all a bit serene, especially when we get some blue flags. Verstappen's now starting to catch up to Ide, and power sliding through the Ost curve to try and scare Ide out of the way. But here's where the real action is, the battle for 4th place.
Fangio's closed up once again, so yeah, Hoy and the Freeze really slowing each other down at the moment.
Yeah, the gap to Button is increasing a bit. It's going to stay that way. Who knows? Fangio looking closer to Freeze, but with none of them trying to overtake into here, somebody might get a run into the stadium.
At least a better access from the Freeze there, so Fangio is out of contention for an overtake into this corner, but then again the Freeze is also too far back for Hoy going into the stadium once again.
Got to say, that static shot that we just had of them flying into that corner from the back was a brilliant camera angle. Definitely going to stick with this camera for another lap because that was beautiful. So just having a look down the leaderboard, so it's a long lap, so we're not seeing cars appearing 2, 3, 4 or even 6 laps behind. 19th place John Watson is the highest placed car a lap down after lap 30, so we're 2/3 of the way through and not many cars have been lapped, so that's nice about the long circuit. It has meant that the lap cars haven't really ruined this for us. As that was a lazy getting out the way of this lot, and E-Day is the next one to get lapped. Now, could E-Day play into this? It's caused Hoy to gap De Vries massively, 2 seconds.
Yeah, Ide swerved a little bit there, and De Vries had to let loose of the accelerator. Also, Fangio making him catch up to him once again. But yeah, now the gap, Hoy has another gap to De Vries once again, so he survives a little bit longer.
Yeah, De Vries take a slight defensive line into the chicane. If Fangio was clever, he could get a better exit and have a go.
Now the Fangio's in the slipstream once again. Does he have another speed to go into the corner? It doesn't seem like he is, but he's definitely going to have a look.
I was just going to watch that camera view, and I need to go down the grid a bit because I have just seen Gilles Villeneuve dropping down the order. Has he had an accident, or has he made a pit stop? He has made a pit stop. So has he come in for a new front wing, or is this the first of the scheduled... Yes, Villeneuve has lost his front wing somewhere. So, drama for Bavera. But it's impressive that he's lost his front wing and has only come out 15th from 9th, so he's not lost too much time with this. I'll have to go back and find out what happened. There you go, Brundle's gone through, Alonso's gone through. Oh, he's lost almost a whole lap.
Similar incident with Dan Gurney, I guess.
Talk about
no.
Dan Gurney. Gurney's now lost somebody. He's lost a front wing, and now he's lost Villeneuve a front wing. So
Well, that's Bavera's luck, honestly. I believe both Bavera and Excelsior have gone through the most front wings this season. It has to be.
I don't know. I think Schumacher went through about 1 million in Canada.
Yeah, he on his own is also on that leaderboard. But if you put up a ranking with Schumacher, Bavera, and Excelsior, they're all three up there by a long while.
Anyone who's watching this, if you've got a lot of free time on your hand, which it's lockdown, I know you do, go back through the races and go and count how many somebody go and do a tally count of who's lost the most front wings, because I'd love to hear it. But there you go, Villeneuve trying to get past Schumacher into the CRS, but even he wasn't going to make that work. I think Villeneuve's fight back is probably going to be the interesting battle to follow in the next few laps. I think up ahead that's Brundle and Alonso here battling for 9th. Bit of a love tap. What can Brundle do? So now he's right up behind Alonso. But a bit more grunt in the Siggy Pop apparently, even though there isn't. Alonso pulls away.
Here we go, back markers and Fangio and De Vries, but all in a battle. This is going to be chaos.
Yeah, Hakkinen gets pushed wide by both of them. And there's Andretti now who's going to hold up. It's Fangio up the inside. Obviously, De Vries gets very sideways through the chicane. But they've both navigated it fine, and Hakkinen in the background has flown past Andretti. Good bit of driving from the Finnish driver. All of this allowing Hoy to just gap De Vries where he possibly can. We'll see. Fangio having a look at that Manatee rear wing thinking, I want to get past you. I really want to get past you, and I think I can. Just need to find the spot.
And just hope for a mistake from De Vries going on one of the exits like this one, taking a lot of curb there.
Exactly, both these drivers very similarly skilled actually. Fangio 84, De Vries 83. So with the same power, this should be monumentally close. Well, this of course allowing, oh look at that, Ahoy's disappearing. So you said that De Vries didn't really want to read that Smeg rear wing anymore. This isn't the way he was expecting to do it. As I think Clark has just sent it past Rossi into the S-curve. So Jim Clark, oh, if I put the right way, so he's behind Rossi. Chooses the outside line, Rossi is defending the inside. Rossi doesn't defend hard enough.
Almost touching wheels there, but they keep it clean, and yeah, Clark pulls out ahead, going out of the last curve.
Puts the Red Knights back together in 6th and 7th. Rossi coming back. No, he's not going to be the first driver to actually complete a move into the centre chicane. Somebody's going to get that prize. It'll be glorious when they do, but not yet. So De Vries is obviously quite short-fueled. Because Verstappen definitely pitted for... I know. So, Verstappen is coming in this lap. He was the first to pit of everyone last time? He was, yes.
Yeah, and everyone else followed the lap after, and the lap after Hoy and the rest, as we have a yellow in the stadium section.
We do. It's at the back and it's Jean Lazy. So, Bad Rain Motorsport, unfortunately... Oh, smoke out the back. Smoke out the back as he comes in. And, yeah, it dies out the corner, loses it as the engine locks up. And, well, they've got some good data. That's all I can really say for Bad Rain so far, but, you know, let's hope the team sticks around, sticks with it, and we get some developments in this car. But first race of the season starts, well, with a broken engine. Bartes there forcefully shoving Heidfeld out the way out the S-curve.
Also the only way how to do it, otherwise Heidfeld just isn't going to move. So yeah, this is going to get interesting once again. Now Verstappen is going to pit and pop around like around 7th or 8th maybe. But yeah, if he gets in traffic, it's not that big of a deal. The real issue is the guys behind him, Hoy, De Vries and Fangio, of course. Of course, Hoy, with the latest pit stop round, really beneficial, and now put him in the place where he currently is. Now is the question, what's going to happen over the next pit stop rounds, and is he going to keep that gap, or lose it, or gain even more from it?
Exactly, so Verstappen's got a couple more corners to go, and then he'll fly into the pits. So, if it weren't for Watson having to pit in the stall next to him, that would have been an unsafe release of Verstappen. But he's caught in 6th, so he's managed to clear Clark quite comfortably, actually. There's a real big gap forming between the top 6 and the rest of the pack. Fangio's coming in, De Vries is coming in, Button's coming in, and Bartes is coming in this lap. So, do we think, Daniel, do you think the Harvey Racing boys can make up 22 seconds in the pit stop on DTK? Have they been they've been working on the negative time pit stop?
Yeah. Well, what we've actually done is we've slowed down the DTK boys.
Okay, so yeah, they put some like glue on the floor so that they're trying to throw the tyre in from the garage.
Yeah. So fingers crossed it works. And they didn't mess up the pit boxes.
Of course, you've change the arrow so Barthez has to enter it backwards.
But yeah.
Does he
what could
need
go
to
wrong?
do a D'Ambrosio, do a 180 in the pit lane, slide it in backwards, and then put it in reverse and drive out and see if he can keep it in the lead?
All without getting a penalty for reversing in the pit lane. Well, oh, hang on, no, this looks like a normal pit stop. Did you sabotage the wrong pit lane?
Ah, that could be it. Could be it.
Oh well.
Clowns. Got one
Let's see
job.
if Button's tires aren't glued together for some reason. Does he get up from... Yes, he does get up. Does he get down and have the ability to move? That's the question. No, because the Vries is pulling by, and he pulls away. So
Right.
no issues there.
Yeah, well, maybe they did know what they were doing. So De Vries does get away ahead of Fangio, so he keeps that position, and the gap between them is quite big now. It was last time. Clark's coming in this lap, as is Hoy. Barthez, though, has kept the lead after a pit stop over his teammate, and he's putting another lap on the high-tech. See things back in the head. Fangio now has got Alonso right behind him. Brundle's coming in this lap. With De Angelis as well. He's made a stop, and Prost now he's got the first pit stop for Falcon, and he's ahead of Senna. Villeneuve might have been lucky with his front wing, but he might have been fueled to the end. So hopefully for Rivera's sake, Villeneuve can keep going, although he's just caught up to Gurney again. I think this is something we should watch, because it didn't work last time they went into turn 1 together. No, Gurney quite helpfully gets right out the way. Not playing with that again. Hang on, there's a Harvey without his front wing. It's Brundle. It's Brundle. Martin Brundle has lost his front wing somewhere at one of these chicanes. How's he done this then? Up to the OS curve. Everything seems fine, and oh my goodness.
Chaos in front of him.
What is, so hang on. Oh no, I need to press the replay button to see that. So Andretti has pulled out to let Fangio through, but then has stopped, and Fangio's stopped, and he's been hit by a lot. Alonso's had a really bumpy ride. He's bounced off 2 cars and got through, but somehow then has been overtaken by Fangio. Yeah, so Alonso has hit the brakes really early, maybe to give the position back because he overtook him off the track or something. And in all of this, Brundle has collected the stopped Andretti. They've bumped off his front wing. Well, the only silver lining is Brundle was coming in anyway this lap. Perhaps the glue was actually dropped out at the OS curve, and that's what Andretti got stuck in.
Could be.
Kind of backfired there. Looks like Chris Hoy's in the pits because Verstappen's back up to second. Brundle's doing a good job to hold De Angelis behind, even though as we now head into the actual corners section. But no, actually, no. Having said that, he gets past as soon as possible. Alonso's made it in. So, okay, Hoy has come out. Once again, he's managed to come out the pits well in front of everyone else. So the DTK pit team looking pretty good at the moment. Barthez is back into a comfortable lead. So Verstappen second still after the stops, Button third. Hoy fourth, De Vries fifth, and Fangio sixth, having just lost a load of time with the back marker.
Yeah, that really cost us a great battle for the end of the race. I really would have seen Fangio pulling it up with De Vries again, going after Hoy. But now, yeah, we have to look at De Vries has proven as Senna has retired.
Senna has retired, so we know that Prost came in last lap. Is this an engine blow up, or has Senna just there forgotten to have a pit stop? Has he got no fuel? And we'll see. Yeah, no smoke. I think Senna's forgotten to pit. And what was looking like a super strong result for Falcon, well, it's all gone up in, well, a load of fumes. I would say smoke, but there's nothing to burn in that fuel tank. Why has Brundle still not got a front wing? Did he... Okay, no, okay, Brundle has pitted and replaced his front wing, but he seems to have lost it straight away. Oh my goodness. Brundle's lost his front wing in the pits to Alain Prost.
That's dangerous.
That is... Okay, we've been joking about unsafe releases, but we've just seen one. What are you doing, Alain? Is the team given the command to go? No, Brundle is there. Well, I think I can see Daniel running down the pits to go and punch the Falcon team manager. Can you confirm that that is happening?
It is indeed.
I would rather punch Alain on that big French nose of his, because Falcon gave him the go-ahead way ahead of Brundle, and he just didn't pull out of that pit box. Like, he was a snail. Like, if someone deserves a punch in the face, it's going to be the nose of Prost.
Might fix it. It's a bit bent at the moment. Oh, that was a twitch from Button under braking there. But kept it going, it's fine. It's fine. Nothing wrong at the moment. Hoist crawling on the fourth, as De Vries is now 4 seconds back. Probably, well, I'm not going to say probably not going to make it farm, because I've already commentated, has cursed many people this season. See, so DeAndres has made it up to the top 10, so good job for him, for Bravera. Prost is still going. And Brundle is still in the points. Still in the points, although he's about to be unlapped by Dan Gurney, which I'm sure is going to make him actually thrilled to see that car again. Perez has managed to jump Schumacher in all of this. And he's back up ahead. And Watson and Andretti coming in this lap. Frentzen about to be blue flagged by Clark. So he was a bit higher, but he's fallen back in the high attacks. There's Senna. Hamilton still hasn't got past Senna yet. Master's a long way back. Gurney's a long way back, and Ide's even behind Gurney. Oh dear. So Bartez's lead is now 17 seconds. Quite impressive.
Yeah, another absolute dominant performance from Barthez, which he really needed, to be honest, because, yeah, Verstappen has chipped away his lead in the championship past him, and now Barthez wants it back again.
Well, surprisingly, Barthez and DTK Racing have only actually won one race this season in Argentina, and apart from that, it's been consistent on the podiums, but no, lack of only one win this season is not what you'd expect for a team that's led the championship for so long. So, but as expected, the top 3 drivers in the race are the 3 with the best driver skill on the grid. You know, Barthez has got 100, Verstappen's got 100, and Button's got 99. But it's all working out quite well. Hoy is definitely underpowered compared to De Vries in terms of driver skill, but strategy has helped Hoy out and he's managed to stay ahead. And Fangio, well, showing that his pole position was probably quite fortuitous. Made it where he is. Rossi and Clark is probably our closest battle at the moment, but isn't Prost and Villeneuve. Brundle is still struggling to get into the pits.
I believe he has done another lap without a front wing, and he still is not pitting. So either he's happy without a front wing, even though he's slower, or Harvey has run out of front wings.
Okay, this shouldn't be happening, but he's still going, but he's still in the points. He's still in 13th place. What is going on?
And it still doesn't look like he's pitting.
Unless he did pit, we didn't notice it, and he's come out and lost it again. Can't
Now
be
that would be something.
I'm not going to search back through the replays to save his blushes in case that has happened. If it has happened, that would be comic genius, to be honest. But here we go, Perez 14th is coming up and thinking, oh hang on, I could get past the former championship leading team here. He's putting a lap on Gurney and Hamilton, who are trying to unlap themselves on Brundle.
And Verstappen is approaching him as well. He gets through to the first ones, but yeah, if he now loses his front wing as well, that's going to be something.
So there you go, Perez lifts off to let Verstappen through, who then slows down Hamilton, which allows Ide to get past Gurney. So Ide's back past Gurney and they're trying to get past Brundle. So Perez now past Martin Brundle. Taking 13th as this battle for the back as Jenson Button's joining in this mess.
In this immense roadblock that has been pulled up. As we have now a yellow as well.
Well, that's because they've all stopped on
Yeah.
track. Chris Hoy could have a shot at Button now after that. What was that mess? I've got to find that. So we've got Hamilton, Ide and Gurney all scrapping about trying to work out, can we lap Brundle while trying to be lapped by... No, can we unlap ourselves on Brundle while being lapped by Button? And then Gurney's trying to get lapped by both Heidfeld and Button. Heidfeld is trying to lap Gurney and be lapped by Button, and they've all just got confused. That is just memes. That's all that was. How do you do that?
Wait. I just note, where has the freeze gone?
Where has De Vries gone?
Fangio is in 5th.
He is. De Vries is down to 9th somehow. He had to go through the pits. He has had to go through the pits. Good spot there, Leslie. So it is the front wing gone. So Nick De Vries, he's lost his front wing early enough on the lap that the pit crew were able to get a new one ready. It's Schumacher. Schumacher causes somebody else to lose a front wing by parking it on the apex. Not what you want to see. Let's get a rearward. Oh, missed it. Rearwards camera view. So he's on the inside. No, Michael shouldn't have done that. Yeah, so okay, well that's ruined that battle again. De Vries now is closing up to Alonso. I suppose the only thing De Vries has got now is he's got super fresh tyres compared to Alonso's fresh-ish tyres. He's got 5 laps. Can he close up? So it puts Fangio a little bit closer to the podium. He's still got 2 cars which he needs to trip over each other or blow up if he wants that podium. So Bartes has got this entire straight between the first and the second chicanes. That's how big his lead is. That is an impressive lead from the DTK. Oh no. So Brundle is still holding up these cars who want to lap him but then can't lap him. Fangio gets past 1. I think Brundle's finally doing his Ocon roll. Unfortunately, he did it on Jensen.
That is quite unfortunate. A massive shame.
Of course, the cursed words that we must never ever repeat. You have no idea how many times I've had to, during this season, stop myself saying that when it has been a massive shame. So 5 laps to go. Brundle is still in 15th place. Admittedly 16th is getting pretty close now. But looks like Jim Clark is the next guy. It's going to be lapped as Schumacher sent Clark off into the gravel there. And taken off his front wing. For Schumacher. Hey, could he be the new public enemy?
He's going on a rampage at the moment, so he's definitely going for it.
Yes, Perez got a bit of a reputation with Brevera especially. And, Macy, I'd say that's 50-50. Like, Schumacher did pull out space, and Clark did kind of just drive into him. So Rossi's got through on Clark now. And Alonso's now thinking, oh, there's a front wing there. Oh, it's a red light front wing. Is that going to be a position I can get? Or this is going to play into De Vries's hands as he recovers from his accident with Schumacher. So what's he going to do? Oh, he bumps Hakkinen out of the way completely.
While keeping his front wing, that's impressive.
Oh, Hakkinen gets wiped out by Elio De Angelis. Right, okay, we've missed all that, but I was trying to flick through. So, Hakkinen pulls to the inside to let Alonso through. And then sees De Vries and thinks, oh, I'll let him through as well. De Vries thinks, oh no you don't, sonny boy. Spins him round.
Well, he stays on the inside as well, parks it on the racing line again.
And
Then he
Hakkinen,
rejoins and just gets collected by, I believe that's De Angelis?
yeah, absolutely creamed. So, yeah, Brevera have gone through another front wing. Oh, what has this race suddenly turned into? So, Brundle is still plugging along with our front wing and is still in the points. Well, because the guy who's chasing him, Schumacher, keeps crashing. We've got another yellow flag. We've got another yellow flag. Hang on, someone up ahead. It's Rossi. It's Rossi. It's Rossi. I think Rossi is blown up.
Ah, not again.
So it's up the inside. And, oh, no, oh, he's stopped. He's stopped with, no, hang on.
We have a roadblock.
Okay, that was just the wrong camera angle. What is, oh my goodness, what is happening here? So, Brundle is trying to get lapped by, this is the biggest cluster swear word I think I've ever seen. So, what's going on there?
This is just a highway junction now.
So in all of this, so Brundle is still trying to be lapped by other cars who, no, he's trying to be unlapped by cars who don't want to unlap themselves on him. He's finally get through it. They've all just had a brain fart and decided to hit the brakes. And this utter carnage, as Brundle is finally out the points, has been shuffled down to 17th or something. He's been lapped by Alain Prost. As now,
Here we go once again.
this, like, I didn't have words for the mess we had at Donington down at Coppice when we had the massive crash, when everyone stopped on the track. At least no one's retired from this mess. But in all of this, John Watts found himself in the points. Heidfeld's moved up. Perez is 13th.
I hope Bartes gets through, because now he's approaching that group, I believe.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Right, so Prost has moved himself up to 10th. Clark has still not got a front wing in his 9th, but he's coming in this lap. I've screwed up somewhere. De Vries has found himself up to 8th, with Alonso 7th. Rossi hasn't retired, so don't worry, Siggy Pop is still going. Fangio's 5th. Hoy's 4th and happy. Button's 3rd. Verstappen and Bartes is fine. So, I think Watson's moved back down again. So Schumacher's got past Watson somewhere. So Watson's trying to unlap himself on Clark. And Schumacher's actually used it as a chance to overtake. So, good bit of opportunistic driving from Schumacher there. although he has now been lapped by Prost. Andretti, Frentzen, so Brundle is now 19th, still without front wing. And he's now holding up Gurney again, so he's repainted favourite now as Massa overtakes puts a lap on Gurney. What? What? Just... Ah... I've managed to screw up the standings somehow. And I have to go to... Oh, yeah. Set split, pagination, real-time splits. There we go. Got it back to where we want. There we go. Clark has finally made it into his pit stop. Oh, Villeneuve is now hit. Villeneuve is the latest driver to lose his front wing on Michael Schumacher.
As we had a spin in the background as well.
I think it might have been a DTK who's just had a spin. I'll have to have a look.
No, I believe it was an Excelsior.
Hang on.
An Excelsior spun at the exit of turn 1.
I guess the turn 1. I think
like a full 360.
Oh, wait, yeah, so Andretti has had a spin here at turn 1. So Frentzen up the inside of Andretti. Frenzen's lost it and punted at Andretti into a spin. He's rejoined just fine. And then, so Watson here has got Frentzen and Barthez trying to go around that. So Barthez has hit Watson. Luckily Barthez has kept going. But having said that, blue flags will be fine this race. And it's been
clearly haven't.
It's been pretty calm up until, well, the last 3 laps, when it's gone, as it says in the ruling of the DTK, it's gone to Smeg. Absolute mess. So Fanjo's in 5th, absolutely on his own. Rossi and Alonso 6th and 7th. De Vries found himself back up in 8th. Prost up to 9th for Falcon. This is a brilliant result for that team. Their best result so far has been in 11th place. So, looking for some strong points here in the Falcon if they can just keep it going. Villeneuve is coming into the pits at the end of this lap. DeAndre's going to get back past him, and look at that train of the train of pain behind DeAngelis. I think it's the best way to christen that.
Oh, here we go again. Another traffic jam.
So it's Villeneuve without a front wing, and then a load of cars that do and don't want to unlap themselves. Massa's got us putting himself back up ahead of Watson, unlapping himself there. Yeah, Watson, who was 15th a couple of laps ago, is now 18th. Villeneuve's going to pull into the pits and hold Frentzen up. And Andretti and Watson try and get through. Brundle now lets his teammate through, and Hoyt. Actually, battle for 3rd isn't over. With just, is there going to be 2 laps or 1 lap to go? Yeah, last lap. Oh no, the 1.5 seconds, that's probably not going to be enough. But, my goodness, what an absolute mess the end of this race has been. Oh no, Verstappen has caught up to the train of pain. Oh, that was close with E-Day.
Which is a disaster on its own.
Exactly. Button's got Clark and Gurney up ahead of him. That's probably the only thing standing between Hoy and a podium is this train of pain getting in Button's way. So he's going to put a lap on Clark. No, I think he's through fine, unless Gurney does something cruel and ironic. Like that. No, Clark's going to get in the way of Hoy, so I think Button's quite safe there. But here we go, through the stadium section. He's not won since Argentina. He led the championship for ages. An awful Canada put paid to that. But here we go, through the final corners, Fabien Barthez to take his 2nd win of the season. DTK's 2nd win of the season, and probably take the championship lead back. Barthez wins the German Grand Prix. Spectacular drive. And it's going to be, well, 25 seconds ahead of Verstappen. Leslie.
Well, yes. He had the pace to battle with Fangio, but once Bartes got past, it was no going back for. It was no looking back for him. Verstappen goes home in second place, and Button will probably take third.
Yeah, how's this race gone for Harvey Racing, do you think, Daniel?
Well, qualifying was a bit of a shame. Then the race was, it started okay, and it got slowly worse. For Brundle, it got a lot worse for Brundle.
I think
Button's been okay.
oh, Bartes has run out of fuel across the line, or is his engine blown up? No, he's crossed the line and he's going off in to celebrate with the fans. But if that's squeaky bum time, he's quite lucky. As Verstappen's driving on the grass, are you about to blow up? I don't know. Chris Hoy takes fourth, with Fangio in fifth. So Paulman Fangio in fifth. Valentino Rossi a long way down in sixth place. Across the line for Siggy Pop, he didn't retire when the camera wasn't pointing at him and the absolute cluster smeg appeared. Alonso coming across the line in seventh, up where he qualified. And De Vries will take eighth. He's going to be unhappy with Schumacher, as quite a bit of this grid is. Alain Prost, the last unlapped driver, the best first top 10 for Falcon. First top 10 for one of the new teams. Brilliant result for Falcon. Shame it's just one of their drivers, but Prost across the line in 9th, De Angelis 10th, Clark 11th, Perez up to 12th, so good result for him. Villeneuve 13th, Hyde 14th, Schumacher 15th, rounding out the points. So, brilliant results, they're all still fighting through the loss curve on the slowdown lap. Frentzen 16th, Andretti 17th, Watson, Brundle without his front wing for the last 10 laps or so. Hamilton 20th. Massa finishes 21st. Massa's actually beaten 2 drivers on his debut for Bad Ray Motorsport, so decent start for the new team. Ide takes 22nd, with Gurney the last remaining driver. Hackman 24th, Senna 25th, and Alesi 26th. Well, that's been the German Grand Prix. How did you enjoy that, guys?
I'm just glad we don't have any stewards in this championship, otherwise Bartes would have been disqualified for the not passing technical regulations. But overall, another carnage race, and I already can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, and Daniel, your
Yeah,
commentary debut, how's it gone?
I think it was okay. It was very exciting, especially the end, and I think it really leads to a great last 3 races with the top 2 drivers on the same points.
Absolutely, it's getting really close. Next time we're going to head off to Japan. Quite a long in-lap it seems, and Verstappen weaving for the fans, of course. Without there being a Dutch Grand Prix, this is, well, it's probably Eneli and Verstappen's closest to home Grand Prix.
Yeah, geographically it is, because if we would have gone to Spa, that would have been still further away from our home base than Hockenheim. So yeah, our home Grand Prix this was.
Exactly. So, well, I hope everyone watching has enjoyed the race. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to like and subscribe to the video. If you're new, again, you can always come and join the race. As you've seen, Bad Ram Motorsport have joined the grid here. And we have got another team lined up for the Australian Grand Prix as well, so be excited for that. Next time out is Japan, so yeah, see us next week. So hope you've enjoyed the race, and see you next time. So it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from my spare commentators.
Bye.
And